I was just going to say I came a cropper once by introducing some poetic licence into one of the autobiographies I did. It was with a Chelsea player called Peter Osgood, and I'd done 2 or 3 by then, and I was always trying to look to make it more interesting and broaden it out. And we got to a point in the book where he'd retired from football and his life was sort of going down a little bit, and he was painting and decorating, and I put a little bit of my words into it, where I said that he was watching the Live Aid concert in 1985, and he saw Bob Geldof get up and salute the crowd, and he said to himself, "Bob, savour this, because it's all downhill from now." So that was fine. When the book came out, I said to Peter, "You have read it thoroughly, haven't you?" "Yeah, of course I have. Yeah. I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." And we went and did the rounds of the television and the radio together, and it was fine, because when they asked him, he clearly hadn't read it, and when they asked him certain questions, he had no idea what the chat was on about. I was there to jump in. And one particular day, he rang me up and he said, he called me Big Fella. He was about 3 foot taller than me, and he said, "Big Fella, I've been asked to go on BBC radio tonight for the Southampton game versus so-and-so, and they want to talk about the book." I said, "Okay, what time is it?" He said, "Well, it's about half an hour." I said, "Well, I can't get there in half an hour." He said, "Well, you don't need to be there. Don't worry about it. Listen to it." So I put on 909 or whatever it was, and I'm listening, and it's Jonathan Pearce, and he said to Peter, I loved your book. It was very, very evocative and at times, very emotional." He said, "I particularly liked it I particularly was interested at the Live Aid concert. Can you tell the listeners?" And he said, "What?" And I'm sitting on this bed and I'm thinking, oh my God. And Jonathan Pearce said, "The Live Aid, what you thought when Bob Geldof come on the scene?" He said, I didn't watch Live Aid. And my heart went like that. And Jonathan Pearce quite cleverly moved it on pretty quickly. And then as soon as he finished, my mobile went, "You bastard. What is all that crap you put in there?" So I try and stick to the facts now.
Well, moving swiftly from non-fiction to pure fiction, Martin is now going to give us a reading about another West End wide boy, though this time obviously a fictional character.
Okay, I'm going to read the opening scene in Night in the City, the 1938 book by Gerald Kersh. Obviously this was 20 years before Paul Raymond, I think, first ventured into the West End, or established himself in the West End, but my feeling is that the characters and the places were very much the same. The star, if you could call him a star of this book, is Harry Fabian. He's a literary character worthy of Dickens, I would say. The Soho and the West End is his universe. He's probably born in Bermondsey or Bethnal Green, the book doesn't tell you. But he thinks, as you'll see in this bit I'm going to read, he likes to think he's American. I see him as a hybrid of Arthur Daly, Adam Faith Budgie, Pinky from Brighton Rock, and Walter Mitty. If he wasn't a pimp and a ponce and a petty criminal and a blackmailer and a compulsive liar, you could almost like him. Here we go. The barber squeezed a rubber powder bottle. Bop, 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 and a faint white bloom settled upon the chin of Mr. Harry Fabian. As the chair clicked back to an upright position, Fabian had the pleasure of seeing himself, massaged pink and shaved like a film star, twice reflected in a couple of mirrors before and behind him. If there was one spectacle that pleased Harry Fabian better than the reflection of his own face, it was that of the back of his head. He uttered a breathy "ah," expressive of complete gratification. "Nothing like a massage to liven you up, sir," said the barber. "You said it," said Fabian, and then added abruptly, like a man struck by inspiration, "Say, that's not a bad idea for a song. Listen, there's nothing like a massage to liven you up," he sang, to the tune of the last line of Minnie the Moocher. "Get it? Did I say not bad? Why, it's swell. It's the sort of thing that gets everybody humming it. They put it over in vaudeville acts. Fellas say it to their girls. Massage, you know what I mean?" Fabian grinned. "It's very good, sir." "I'll say it is. That's the way you get ideas. You look at a trombone and you say, the music goes round and round. Then the whole world sings it. You look round a place like this and you say, hot towels, I'm in trouble. Oh, hot towels, I'm in trouble, sang Fabian to the tune of Black Coffee. And there you are. I wish I was clever enough to do things like that, said the barber. Well, you know how it is. Either you've got the talent or you haven't. Trouble is, there's no money about over here. I can always pick up a living, but not real money. Nothing like what I used to get in the States. I have to work damn hard to pick up £20 a week over there. But in the States, I used to make $400 a week, and without overworking at that. What doing? Fabian looked up at the barber with indignant suspicion. What do you think? Writing songs. That's my job. But over here, there's no money about. Thinking of going back? Oh, I don't know. There long, sir? 10 years. New York? Yes. I've got a brother in Brooklyn. What part did you live, sir? Listen, are you going to be all night? Snap into it, will you? I've got a date. Brilliantine, sir? No, cream. Take care of that wave. That's right, just sort of push it back in with the comb. Harry Fabian stood up, adjusting his tie, and surveyed himself from head to foot. He was a little man, no more than 30 years old, excessively small-boned and narrow between the shoulders. He had a large head, perched on a neck no thicker than a big man's forearm, and a great deal of fine hair dressed in the style affected by Johnny Weissmuller. His face was pale, too wide between the ears and too narrow at the chin. A face like a wedge. He looked like a man with a good capacity for hatred. His eyes did not match. The left was large and watery, and it continually wavered and blinked with a flickering of whitish lashes. But the right was smaller, harder, steadier, and of a more concentrated blue. Out of this eye he watched you. When he wanted to look dangerous, he simply closed his left eye, slamming the eyelid down like a shutter with an effort that twisted up the whole left-hand side of the face. He had a nose like the beak of a sparrow, that together with his upper lip, which was pressed out of sight, and his lower jaw, which protruded like the head of a chopper, gave him an air of insolence, spite, and malice. He dressed far too well. There was a quality of savagery about his clothes, hatred in the relentless grip of his collar, malice in the vicious little knot of his tie, defiant acquisitiveness in the skin-tight fit of his coat. His whole body snarled with vindictive triumph over the memory of many dead years of shabbiness. "Give me a good brush down," he said. "I hate dust. What do you think of this suit? I'll say one thing, clothes are dirt cheap over here. Look at this suit, handmade, and only £9. You pay $100 for a suit like that in New York. What do I owe?" "Vibro, shave, brush up, 4 shillings, sir." Harry Fabian smacked down 2 half-crowns. He made them sound like 20. When he had gone, one of the assistants said, "I wonder why Yanks go in for face massage so much." "What Yank?" said the barber. "Him? He's no American." "No? What did he say he was? Songwriter?" "Yes, he writes songs like my tomcat writes songs." "Well, what is he then?" Upon the slightly steamy surface of a mirror, the barber wrote with a forefinger 1 letter, P.
Which, of course, stands for ponce, which was a fairly heavy term of abuse in the 30s.